If you take away just one tip from this video, let it be this: listen really, really well. 8s are very good at telling you what they want. They know what they want, so all you have to do is listen. If you don't know who I am, hello, I'm Abby, and I'm here to help you discover you. And guess what? My dad is actually married to a type 8, aka my mom. My mom's an 8, and so I asked my dad to give me some advice for dating and having a successful long marriage with an Enneagram Type 8. So his advice is peppered throughout this video. Make sure before we dive into it, make sure you're subscribed to this channel for new videos every Thursday. We're starting with number 10. Like I said at the top of this video, you have to listen really, really well. 8s are really good at telling you what they want, so you have to listen. If you don't listen, there's going to be a problem. My dad actually offered up an example of when he didn't listen to my mom, and I'm gonna share it with you. When they first got married, they moved right to New York City, and naturally they walked around a lot, and my mom had to walk a couple miles to work every single day. So for Christmas, my dad bought a Walkman for her to use on her walks to work. So he bought it at an electronics store, wrapped it up, and put it under the tree. Now, keep in mind, they didn't have a lot of money back then, and the Walkman was like $50. So this was not a small investment. And here's where my dad messed up. He didn't listen to my mom. She had never mentioned a Walkman before. She didn't really listen to music. And she most likely mentioned other gifts that she would have liked to have for Christmas. So when he gave it to her, she was like, "Oh, thank you." And then she never used it. But guess who did use the Walkman? That's right, my dad. And 33 years later, the Walkman still comes up in conversation from time to time. So listen to your partner, folks. Number 9, give them the freedom to be themselves. Let them breathe. A type 8 messaged me on Instagram and said something that I think is really great advice for giving type 8s the freedom they need. She said, "Don't even think about telling me I'm too much. Instead, delight in my muchness and appreciate it." Number 8, don't waste their time. I think this encapsulates a lot of aspects of dating, like don't play games. Be clear and intentional about what you want and what your expectations are. Type 8s appreciate directness, so don't be flirting with a type 8 if you don't expect it to go anywhere. Don't string them along. Know that if they are dating you, they are in it. I mean, 8s don't mess around. And if they are messing around, they're probably going to tell you that they are messing around. So what I'm trying to say is don't play with their heart. Don't, be flimsy with your wants and your needs. Just be direct and straightforward with them. They won't play games with you, so don't play games with them. Number 7, affirm vulnerability. When you struggle with a fear of being manipulated, it is so incredibly hard to open up and be vulnerable with somebody. And as we all know, vulnerability is so important to having a healthy, thriving relationship. And vulnerability is really hard because it does leave you open to attack if the person you're sharing with isn't trustworthy. So if you are wooing a type 8, make sure that you affirm them when they're vulnerable with you, and don't forget to be vulnerable with them in turn. Number 6, acts of service will take you far. I've actually already mentioned this example on a video on this channel, the top 10 ways to love an Enneagram Type 8. I will link it right here, but I am mentioning it again in this video because I think it is that important. I'm in a Facebook group for Enneagram Type 8s, and this woman who is an Enneagram 9 posted in the group about how she loved on her husband, who is a Type 8. Her husband mentioned that the garbage disposal was broken and that he needed to call a plumber later. She said, "My 9 self would usually be like, oh, the disposal's broken. I guess we'll have a plumber in the house later." But then she remembered that type 8s love when people do acts of service for them. So she watched a couple of YouTube videos about how to fix a garbage disposal. She spent a couple hours in the kitchen fixing the garbage disposal, and she fixed it. And when her husband came home, he was over the moon, ecstatic. Like, if you are looking for a practical way to woo and seduce an Enneagram Type 8, do stuff for them. Number 5, when I asked Type 8s on my Instagram to share their dating advice for this video, I got an overwhelming amount of responses that included the words, "be honest. Direct and honest communication seems to be a #1 priority for Enneagram Type 8. So if you're trying to date a Type 8, know that honesty is gonna take you far and lying is gonna end the relationship faster than I am ending this sentence right now. #4, brush up on the core motivations of an Enneagram Type 8. One thing that makes the Enneagram so special is that it tells us why we do the things that we do. So I think brushing up on the internal motivations is really important for getting to know another person. So the core motivations of a Type 8 are their core fear, which is being weak, powerless, or controlled. Their core desire, which is to protect themselves and the people that they love. That's why we call them the protective challenger. Their core weakness is lust or excess, and that means that they go after intensity in a way that can sometimes steamroll other people. And their core longing is to know that they are not going to be betrayed. #3, be their protector. Type 8s really value strength in relationships. They use their own internal and external strength to protect themselves and their families. However, it can be exhausting to always be the protector. Sometimes the protector needs someone to protect them. So if you take on that role, I guarantee a Type 8 is going to appreciate that strength that you are showing. #2, when there is conflict, as there always is in any relationship, make sure you communicate your needs. An 8's conflict style is intense and direct confrontation. They like to go toe-to-toe with other people because it creates this intimacy. Oh my God, a flock of wild parrots just flew by. Yes, my city does have wild parrots, but what I was saying, they like to go toe-to-toe with other people because it creates an intensity and an intimacy and an honesty that they crave in all relationships. However, lots of partners, myself included, won't be able to resolve conflict that way. For example, I often need a couple of hours or maybe even an entire day to process my emotions so that I can come to the table for a conflict resolving conversation. So when you're dating a Type 8, make sure you communicate what you need in order to successfully work through conflict. And please don't automatically assume that they're angry and they're attacking you. Acknowledge that their assertiveness and their passion is a part of their communication style. #1, and yes, we are hyping up Type 8s right now. Type 8s are amazing partners. They will stand up for you, for your family, for your friends. They will support the underdogs and empower the people who are closest to them. You will be hard pressed to find a partner who is as brave, as honest, as self-determined, as self-reliant as an Enneagram Type 8. So if you're dating or married to a Type 8, consider yourself lucky. For more videos all about Type 8s, you can click right here, and don't forget to put your own advice about dating or being married to a Type 8 in the comments down below.